Welcome to the Acoustic Angle, where we live in the space between the notes. Hey everyone, this is Will, your host for episode number 2 of the Acoustic Angle podcast. We've got Hugo from the band Thunderbird Hotel with us today.
How you doing?
I am doing great. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Kind of a long day at work, but not pretty good.
Well, at least it's over, right?
Yeah.
So, why don't you tell us a little bit about your band? How did you guys get started?
So Thunderbird Hotel is sort of, I don't know if you want to call it a side project. Well, at one point it was, I guess, to a band that our singer and I were in before called Ether.
Oh, yeah. I actually have a t-shirt from you guys.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for supporting, man. That's awesome.
No problem.
Him and I have been in bands together for a long time now, like probably I want to say about maybe almost 10 years, if not a little bit longer. So,
okay.
Yeah, him and I met, played in a band called Guns on Mars a long time ago, and then we started Ether. And then a few years into that, I mean, dude, we just like music that much, man. And
Sure.
So we decided to start a project that was a little bit more. A lot of the music we were doing with those previous bands was more like hard rock, and we were trying to do stuff that were a little bit more rock and roll, a little bit more alternative sounding, and just something a little bit, different from what we were doing before. So yeah, Thunderbird Hotel started up. Gosh, man, I've been in so many projects, I forget when they started, but it's been at least 3 years, I want to say, that we've been a band. Okay. Maybe a little longer, I don't know, but I want to say it's been about 3 years. So and then I mean, really the idea started not so much with our singer and I. Orlando's our singer, but my brother is our bass player, Alonzo, and He just always had, like, he kind of liked playing. He's a fan of music, obviously, and like he kind of started dabbling in guitar, and then later on was talking about the idea of starting a band. I was like, man, it'd be cool if we did something together, something, and he was very much into that world of like what we're doing with this project. So when I told him, like, well, I mean, I play guitar, like, I'm a little bit more experienced in it, so how do you, it was like, dude, he's like, I'll play bass, like, I'll try bass, like, I always wanted to dabble in bass, so he picked up the bass and started doing that. So that's essentially where it started, and then we asked Orlando, because of course we always know he's down to play music, so we hit him up, and then we got Dwight, who plays in one of my other projects, not Orlando and I's other project, but one of my other projects that I was in, called the Merkins, and we played punk rock together in that project. So we invited him over here, and now it's just all four of us, man, just doing the thing, So it's been a lot of fun. It's probably been my the project that I've been the most creative in terms of like writing and stuff. So it's been a lot of fun.
I think I've seen you guys perform twice there at the Fox, and I always really enjoy every time you're in town. You guys really put on a great show. I didn't realize there was a connection there between Ether, though. That's pretty cool. I can't remember where I first saw you perform as Ether in Hayes.
It was probably, well, I don't know. Maybe it was probably at that Fox Theater show. Was
it? Okay.
Because Thunderbird's only played at the Fox one time. I mean, we played in Hayes and other venues and stuff like that. But if you're talking about just the Fox, Ether's played there once, and then Thunderbird's played there once as well.
Okay. And when you played with Ether, who did you open for then? I can't remember.
We played with Saving Abel. So
that's right. Yes.
Is that what it is? Okay.
I was at that show. That's where I bought that shirt. Yeah. Awesome. I actually chose
that was a lot of fun.
Over a shirt from Saving Abel.
Hey man, we'll take it, man. That's awesome. But it's crazy because I'm actually like, I love those guys. That's not the first time that I've opened up for those guys. I was telling you about my first band was Guns on Mars. We opened up for them back in, oh gosh, I don't even know when this was. Back in like 2013. Like, dude, in the middle of nowhere, out in Kingman, Kansas. Like, dude, it was weird. Yeah. It was weird, but it was such a fun time because. Gosh, why am I blanking on the singer's name?
Jared Weeks.
Jared, that's right. I remember he came over after we were done. He actually watched our entire performance side stage, and we were done. We were packing up, and we were kind of getting to our trailer. And at the time, we had this monstrosity of a trailer. It was like a makeshift trailer made out of like parts of a van, dude. And he came over. He's like, "This is your guys's?" He's like, "We're like, yeah, man." He's like, "Dude, let's take pictures in front of it. This is awesome. I have to show my friends this." And and obviously with his like Missouri accent, I didn't do that impression very well. But
sure.
With his Missouri accent, like he was loving us. He was talking about how much he loved our set. So that meant the world to us that day. So yeah, pretty cool.
Sure, that's really awesome. So where'd you guys come up with the name for Thunderbird Hotel? My first thought when I hear the name is like the Native American Thunderbird thing. It's always been kind of fascinating to me since I was a kid. Is there a correlation there, or is it something else?
There is, but it's more correlated specifically to a motel that we have here in Dodge City. So if you're passing through White Earp in Dodge City and you go to West White Earp all the way to the end, you'll see the rattiest motel there is. But it's such a cool the sign is such a cool vibe because it's like neon lights. And like at night, it just looks really cool. And so, my brother and I were actually debating. I remember it was after practice, and we were just driving around. It was like we didn't want to go home yet, so we were like, "Hey, dude, let's just drive around," because we were thinking of band names. Let's just start like brainstorming band names. And as we drove by there, we're like, "Well, that kind of sounds cool, Thunderbird Motel." So we looked it up, like just to see if any bands had that same name, and unfortunately, that band name is taken. There's one other band called Thunderbird Motel. I don't know if they're active or anything, but I didn't want to be that guy. So I told them, "How about this? Let's look up hotel and see if that will show up." And no one's under the name, at least not at that time. There was no other bands called Thunderbird Hotel, so we decided to just be a little bit more bougie than a motel,
Right. Yeah, kick it up a notch.
Yeah, exactly, man.
So I was going to ask how you came in contact with, playing shows at the Fox and Hayes, but it sounds like you had some connections before with your other band, Ether. So the relationship obviously goes back a little ways.
I have to be completely honest with you. I don't know how that came about, because when the talent buyer reached out to me via email, he's like, "Hey, someone," he's out of Tulsa or OKC, one of the two.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah,
Sam.
Okay, yeah. So Sam, I didn't want to say his name. I don't know if he would want me to, but because then everyone's gonna start hitting him up. But anyways, Sam reached out and just said, "Hey, I got your name through somebody here in my area. Seems like you do a lot over there, and I see, I looked up your band, and it seems like you guys do well. Would you guys be, willing to open a show?" And this is, at the time, he was asking about Ether. And so then he also asked me for a list of bands that that I would recommend to him, like local bands that be willing to play like opening shows like that. And so I gave him a list of a lot of bands that were from the area, whether they were in Hayes or surrounding areas, and he definitely used it, man. It's awesome to see a lot of our friends out there performing at such a beautiful venue,
That is really cool. Yeah, I've noticed that the music community in Western Kansas seems to be relatively small. I mean, in terms of that, everybody kind of knows everybody in a way. Mm-hmm. So that is pretty cool. So you said you've opened for Saving Abel a couple of times. Have you ever opened for any other national touring acts, or is that kind of the biggest one you've done?
I have to think for a second. I guess I don't know what the status of big means. I mean, like, I've opened up for Rings of Saturn before. I mean, that's a metal band, and like I've opened up for Texas Hippie Coalition, if anyone still cares about them. And
Hey, they're going to be coming to Hayes in November. I'm pretty excited for that one. That's going to be awesome.
That was my first big opening show, I guess, and which got us that Saving Abel show, because the guy that was putting on that event out in Kingman, he was like, "Hey, I saw you guys at the Texas Hippie Coalition show. You guys want to open for these guys?" Okay. And then at the time, I think it was Saving Abel. There was a band called New Medicine that I really, really liked. They were a very kind of short-lived band. Aranda, I don't know if you're familiar with Aranda. Aranda, dude. Good. Aranda, they were awesome, man. I love them. And I don't remember who else. What are they called? Why am I blanking on their name? The Art of Dying or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, The Art of Dying,
song,
is that right? They had
they had that song "Get Through This" off their
Yes,
first
that's
record.
right.
It was a big
Yeah,
hit.
that's right, man. And that, dude, we got to play with all those bands. It was kind of a cool. And again, dude,
That's
out in the
pretty
middle
cool.
of nowhere, Kingman, dude, it was cool. No, it wasn't.
That's very
Sorry,
cool.
was it King? I don't know if it was Kingman. Kingman. I'm sorry.
There's
It's
Inman has an arena.
No, this was outdoors. Like, this was like out at a like dry lake, like middle of nowhere. I'm telling you.
Okay.
It wasn't Kingman. I just can't think of the name of the town. It was like a little bit further south of Kingman, but I just can't think of the name.
Okay.
But, anywho, I mean, gosh, what other bands? I mean, we've gotten, even though this is probably the biggest show that I've ever gotten to play, but Ether got to open for Hairball. I know they're like a tribute band, but like, man, we played in front of the biggest crowd I've ever played in front of, which was about 2,000 people. So, like,
I have
it
yet
was
to see them, but I know they draw quite a crowd. I've heard they're a lot of fun.
Oh, do they draw a crowd? It was great. I mean, like, it was a little weird for us because, you know, Ether's like more of a modern hard rock band, you know, and like, you know, I don't remember how that connection happened. I think it was the arena that reached out because apparently they wanted an opener, and so yeah, we did it, and we sold out of merch that day. It was awesome.
That's so cool.
I loved that. Yeah.
So, as Thunderbird Hotel, what's a couple of the songs you've written that you're most proud of under that band name?
Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna spill the beans a little bit here, but like, we have a song that we're gonna be shooting a music video for here in a couple weeks, and I won't say the name of it right now. I just don't want to, but like, we're super excited for the video shoot, but it has to be like one of my favorite songs that we've written. It just has a lot of the textures, a lot of the textures that we identify with, I guess, in terms of like styles of music and stuff like that.
Sure.
So it's just a very cool song. So, and gosh, man, I mean, even out of the songs that we've released, I mean, "Complacent" is such a, in my opinion, such a great song. I mean, just such a well-written song by our singer wrote that song, and he wrote it all acoustic, and he just presented it to us, and I'm like, that is an incredible song. Let's put the rest of the band into it. And then we shot a video for that one. There's like if you go on YouTube and look up "Complacent," Thunderbird Hotel, whatever, it's like a one-shot take in a circle that we did with visual voice artistry at Hutchinson, and it was such a cool music video. So highly recommended. That one's a little bit more on the lighter side in terms of style of some music, but it's a great song too, in my opinion. So,
what's your songwriting process like? Do you guys like lyrics first, music first, a little of both?
It differs. You know, it's kind of half and half, I would say. Like I mentioned earlier, our singer will sometimes have a whole song, like acoustic, like literally just him with a melody, lyrics, and acoustic guitar. And then from there, he'll send it to me, and we'll start building on it with drums, bass, electric guitar, and other, you know, ideas. And then ear candy stuff like that. That's one way we've done it. We've also just like I'll come up with a riff, and we'll go from there, just jam as a band, and then or sometimes even I'll write a whole song like just on guitar and then present it to the band and then just build from there. So it varies, but I can't say if Orlando. I can't speak for him on this because I don't know. It's a good question to ask him, but I don't know if he ever has like a set of lyrics that he just writes out, like just what he's feeling or whatever have you, and then puts it to like some music later on. I don't think he's ever done that, but I'd be curious if he has, you know. So, but I would say mostly it's always been music first and the lyrics on top, so, or some sort of melody. So yeah.
So are all of your different musical projects, are they all fairly different, so you can express yourself in different ways creatively with the different styles?
I mean, man, since I've started playing live, you know, I've been playing music live since, like, I was in high school. So, I've been in a variety of projects. Like I mentioned earlier, hard rock. I've been in a punk band. I've been in a metal band. And also done a lot of acoustic stuff over the years. And now with this project, a little bit more rock and roll, grunge, alternative. I think for me, like, to start with, like, when I first started getting into that world of playing with other musicians and other people and other genres, like, to me, it was more of like an educational thing for me, like to learn what they're doing and to see how I can expand my ability, not just as a guitar player, but as a songwriter too. One of my favorite projects that I was ever a part of was a band called Trevino out of Garden City. And that band, like, that had to be some of my favorite songwriting. I never got to do any, like, real songwriting with them. I mean, I added little tidbits of, like, lead ideas for guitar, but other than that, like, that's all it was. But, like, gosh, just seeing the songwriting process and, like, the music they already had as a band. Because I joined the band later, or, like, I didn't start with them, you know. They've been a band for a long time. They're not a band anymore. Well, okay, they're kind of an on and off band, like reunited and stuff.
Okay.
But before when they were active, anyways, they were just like one of my favorite bands in the music scene in general. Like in terms of like songwriting, like God, I recommend it, man. If you're a fan of bands like a band like Hum or Coheed and Cambria, those kinds of Coheed and Cambria is like my favorite band. If you like those kinds of bands, like old school Coheed and Cambria, I should say.
Yeah.
If you like those kinds of bands, like you would really like them. They just have like a really cool. Yeah, it's such a. They go by on Spotify and Apple Music and all that stuff. They go by El Trevino, like El Trevino. But look up the album Born Again, Bored Again. God, dude, it just start to finish, man. That was such a masterpiece of a record, in my opinion.
Look that up. I'm not familiar with them, so.
Yeah. I mean, they were in Garden City. They were quiet. I mean, they were down. They didn't really play out a whole lot. They kind of stuck in Southwest Kansas for the most part. So.
Sure. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that's really all I had to talk about tonight. I'm sure we could go on and on and on talking about music.
Oh, yeah, man. I could talk music all day.
For sure. Man. But it's been really great having you on the show. I can't wait to see you guys opening up for Alien Ant Farm coming up here in August. That's going to be a great show.
That's
so
awesome.
Excited about that.
Fun fact, I have to say, fact real quick. Sorry not to cut you off, but Alien Ant Farm, even though, like, they're a band that, like, I don't ever want to call a band washed out or anything like that, but they're a band that was kind of like, you know, a one-hit wonder back then a long time ago.
Right.
I have to say, like, a lot of people, like, I think they're one of the most underrated bands, honestly. Like, those first two albums those guys released are absolutely amazing, like, start to finish. They're amazing musicians, like, really good. And I think a lot of that got lost in the whole, like, what is it, the
Smooth Criminal cover.
The Smooth Criminal cover, and that just, like, covered everything, and they were just labeled as the Smooth Criminal cover band. You know what I mean? Like that was their label, and honestly, everyone overlooked the genius of, like, the rhythm section of that band. And quite honestly, like, this has to be, like, for me, personally, like, the coolest. It's going to be the coolest experience. I hope, anyways, because they're literally one of my favorite bands. So it's honestly kind of an honor.
So I'm not going to lie, I was kind of late to the bandwagon with Alien Ant Farm. I was one of those people that heard Smooth Criminal, loved it, but never really dived deeper into their catalog. And I happened to see them this year in April on the Summer of '99 cruise with Creed. And before the cruise, of course, I made a playlist of all the bands that were going to be on there with their current set list, and so I could kind of familiarize myself with the ones I didn't know very well.
Right.
And started picking out songs from Alien Ant Farm. I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of remember this song. Like Movies. There was a couple other ones I recognized. I was like, man, these guys are actually really good, and I've been sleeping on them for years. And so I became a fan before I got to the ship, and then on the ship was blown away even more by their live performance, and then got to meet the guys in the autograph session and talk to them a little bit. So yeah, it's going to be really cool to see them here in Hayes and have you guys there with them. Yeah,
I'm stoked for it, man. I mean, like I said, man, Dryden, their singer, man, he's just such a cool guy too. Like,
oh yeah,
I've seen those guys. Like, I've seen those guys perform on, like, the biggest stages at the United Wireless Arena here in Dodge City.
Oh yeah.
To the Temple Live in their small room in Wichita. Like, those guys just put on a show no matter what. So
yeah, they do. Yeah, they really do.
So,
all right. Well, thank you again for being here with us on the show tonight, and we'll see you at the Fox in August.
Yeah, see everyone on August 15th in Hayes. You should go. So thank you, Will. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you, man.
No problem. You have a good night, man.
You guys take care.